Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Cut the Kibble. I'm Paula, and this is Miss Bella, my 12-year-old Bichon that I've been cooking for since she was 7 months old with the good graces of my vet. And today I'm gonna make a treat. I haven't done this recipe before. I have many treat recipes on my playlist, and all my treats are soft. They're soft for several different reasons. One, if you needed to put a pill in it, it could act like a pill pocket, so it's not a hard, crunchy treat. Secondly, she doesn't have a lot of teeth, so this is better for her. So I just want to say, Bella's in a fleece little hoodie here or jacket here, and she's snuggled up next to me. It is cold here. It's 24 degrees out, and we just came in from getting the mail, and the wind chill is 16 degrees. So I decided, let's crank up the big oven, get the kitchen a little warm, and make a treat recipe. So let's follow along as I make a pumpkin blueberry sweet treat for her. So the first thing we're gonna do is, I don't do flour in any of her treats because it's processed and it's GMO. It has glyphosate in it, which is a known carcinogenic. So I use oats. And I get these at Costco. Farmers, we know, I guess is the name of it. It's non-GMO, it's organic, and it's the safest thing for you and your pet. So I'm gonna make this into flour. Now, if you see my other videos, I get my Vitamix, which is better than a food processor to make your flour. You can get corn, don't use corn for dogs, but you can get corn and grind it up into cornmeal. You can get rice and grind it up into rice flour. You can get dried garbanzo beans and grind it up into garbanzo flour for your recipes if you wanted to. But I've already done this quite a while ago, actually, and I ground up some flour. I have my cameraman today to see how it's ground up. And I'm gonna go ahead, and I think this is a half a cup measure. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off with 1.5, which I'm not doing very good. And you know, all my recipes, I wing it. I go by how it feels at the end. So that wasn't quite 1.5 because I didn't do even Steven. So I'm gonna put that in there. So we have around 1.5 in there. I wanted to say something about this sling. My son is videoing and he knows the vibe of Bella. Bella has many different vibes and she is so chill right now. I could feel how chill she is. And he mentioned that she needs her sling time each day. And I think I need to do that for her because she just loves being with her mommy. Okay, so now to the dry ingredients. We're gonna add some more dry ingredients. I'm gonna add some cinnamon. You can do that. Dogs can have some, I just pinched myself. Dogs can have cinnamon. I'm just gonna put some in here. I don't do sugar. Dogs don't eat sugar. It's like 1/4 teaspoon or something like that. And I'm gonna do some ginger. Now, I wanted to mention, actually, hold on, let me get it out. Let's open the freezer real quick. Cameraman, you wanna come this way? Nope, okay. Hold on, people. Here it is. I made these ginger cookies from a recipe from a recipe book I'm not going to mention, and I converted it. Instead of butter, I used coconut oil, and instead of flour, I used oat flour. And they smell delicious, but throw them out. Why am I being so dramatic? I'll tell you why. First of all, it has too much oil in it. The original recipe from the vet had 1/2 cup of butter. I don't use butter on her. And so I put 1/2 cup of coconut oil. It's too much. It smelled good, I had it, but it's kind of gummy, and that's the last thing she needs in her mouth, something gummy, because she has to get dentals. All of my treats, they're not gummy. It has the perfect consistency. So, while I'm showing you that, because I use fresh ginger, and I said in that video, fresh is best, and it is. But I feel that when you're doing baking, you don't want to put fresh ginger in. Fresh should be more like if you're cooking it up. So I'm going to put a little ginger. Ooh, he you smell it? What do you think of that? I just opened this up actually, and I'm going to add a little less than 1/4 teaspoon to it. So maybe that's 1/8 teaspoon. That's all. Okie dokie pokey. Now, we have all our dry ingredients. And to that, I'm going to add 1 egg. I want to say this, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with my food processor, and I really think that you know that by now about me. But this is such a big food processor for this recipe. Actually, this is a KitchenAid, and at home, in my primary residence, I have the other attachments. It has a little bowl that goes in here, so you just clean the little bowl, even though you have it in the big bowl. I hate cleaning this. I just don't like doing it. Anyway, to that, I'm going to add a little bit of coconut oil. And let me talk to you about coconut oil for a second. If you're going to buy your coconut oil, okay, this is the one I get from Costco. What is it? It's non-GMO, organic, virgin, cold pressed. Those are all the key words that you need. Do not buy coconut oil that is in the liquid state. Right, Bella? Why is that? Because how does it get to the liquid state? They do something to it. This is the natural state. So you want to have your coconut oil like the consistency of, let's say, Crisco oil. Don't ever use Crisco oil for your babies. And it's not to be confused with the MC3 oil. This is a totally different beast that is in liquid form. And this is one of the supplements that I alternate between salmon oil and EVOO. So anyway, getting that extra virgin olive oil. Getting back to this, I have the egg and I have the coconut oil in here. And to that, I'm going to add some pumpkin. Okay, now for those of you that get your own pumpkins and cook them up, I give you a big credit. I don't do that. I'm starting to do that because look what I have here on my counter. I used to buy frozen butternut squash, but now I'm making my own butternut squash. Because yes, fresh is best. But I always have canned pumpkin on hand for Bella. And I suggest that you do that for your dog also, because whenever they have an upset tummy, I add some pumpkin on the side. How much is this? I've been talking so much. Maybe that's like 3/4 cup. Now, what am I going to do with the rest of this pumpkin? Because, you know, you just don't want to leave it in the refrigerator. Because, by the way, I forgot to put the oil in. Here we go. You have to melt this. It took a while. It took like 35 seconds to melt like 2 tablespoons of oil. But what am I going to do with the rest of this pumpkin? Because you don't want it to sit in your refrigerator forever and forget about it and then have to throw it out. So I have these silicone ice trays. And these are great. I put my bone broth in it and my pumpkin. So you put your stuff in there. That's what I'm going to do after this video. You cover it and you put it in the freezer. And then you run some warm water, hot water on this for maybe like 15 seconds. And then all you have to do is then you take the top off. That's why having this top is great. And you just push it out and put it in a container and keep it in your freezer. So I love those. I got those on Amazon. If you want to find it, just Google on Amazon, orange silicone ice trays. That's what a friend of mine did, and she found them right away. Okie dokie. So now, another thing I'm going to add is some blueberries, which I haven't done in any of my treats in combo with the pumpkin. Now, these are frozen blueberries. They're organic. But if you can get the wild blueberries, not wild caught, that's for fish. Wild blueberries, they have more antioxidants in them. But these are fine. By the way, I used to always buy fresh blueberries for myself for my yogurt. I don't do that anymore because you buy them, sometimes they're not good and they don't last and they get mold on it. I just get a big old bag of frozen blueberries and I take out a 1/2 cup of the frozen blueberries and put it in my yogurt in the morning. And what do you get in the morning? You always get your Nana with yogurt, huh? Anyway, so I think that's it. I think we did everything. So I'm just going to mix this up. And why do I think I have this on backwards? I don't know, because I'm not thinking. No, I don't have it on backwards. Okay, let's mix it up. All right, so some of it's not mixing. You know, even though you have a food processor, you always have to go in. I've told you that when you have your sardines and your liver and your heart, you have to help it around. So I'm gonna mix this a little bit more to see if I like the consistency of it. I hope you'll, all right, so now you gotta feel it. And because you don't want it dry, and actually this is just perfect. You don't want it dry because you want, when you give it to them, that it has a little sponginess to it. Why do you want that? So you could stick a pill in there if you need to. Why else do you want it? Let me show you. I just gave her a treat the other day, yesterday. She had her grooming, was it 2 days ago? And I put 4 drops of this Rescue Remedy on to reduce her stress. If you have a hard treat, this is gonna roll off, okay? So my treats are great for treats. She always gets one before bedtime also. And again, why is a hard treat not good? Because this is more spongy. So during the night, if she has any acid in her tummy, this will absorb the acid. So soft treats are the way to go. I encourage you to look at my playlist for all my treat recipes. I must have at least 20 on there. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, we'll shut the camera off for a second. I'm gonna go ahead, you keep the camera running. I'm gonna go ahead, I have a little sheet pan here. This is not an 8.5 by 11. I don't know what it is. It's maybe like a 7 by 10. It's an odd shape, it came with something. And I put my parchment paper. Parchment paper is always your friend on this. And I'm gonna spread it into an even thickness and pop it in the oven for like 15 minutes until I feel the consistency of it is great. And then I'm gonna let it dry on a rack, cut it up, keep some in the refrigerator. I only keep like 4 in the refrigerator because there's no preservatives in this, and the rest go in the freezer. And that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, the treats are out of the oven. I'm actually going to write out the recipe in the description of this video. After I shut my camera off, I felt it was a little bit dry, so I added like 2 teaspoons or a tablespoon of plain non-fat yogurt to it to make it more wet. Look, you don't need to be a baker to do this stuff. You just gotta feel it. It should feel like a little bit like Play-Doh, if you ever made Play-Doh for your kids or you have played with Play-Doh. It should be a little bit more pliable than that. And you can make up your own recipes. Basically, there's 2 types. There's a sweet and there's a savory. I do savory recipes with either salmon or sardines. And my sweet recipes, I do peanut butter, no xylitol, and powder is better because it has less fat. What other things? You know, the pumpkin and the blueberries and things of that nature. You can do it. It's the dog's not going to say, I don't like this. It doesn't have sugar in it. I guarantee your dog's going to like it. Then again, it may not. You know, each dog is different, just like each child is different. And we need to try and experiment. But what you want to do is not buy store-bought treats that has a lot of crap in it. People don't like that I use that word. What do you want me to use? Junk, chemicals, poison, I don't know. It's crap. And you don't want to have the fillers in it like xanthan gum and guar gum. And you don't want to have rosemary extract for the preservatives. These have no preservatives in them, and that's why I only keep 4 in the fridge and the rest in the freezer. Otherwise, they will grow mold on it. I give her 1 or 2 a day, and then I take some more out of the freezer. So let me show you the finished product. Should we do that for everybody? I think so. Here's the finished product. Now what you want to do when you get it out of the oven, you want to remove it from the pan and put it on a raised, ventilated little cooling rack. If you leave it in the pan, the bottom is going to get soggy. So that's why you take it out of the pan. Once it's fully cooled, which it's not because I just took it out. I'm going to get a pizza cutter, or you can get a knife, and I'm going to cut it into portion sizes for my dog. And I also wanted to show you, while it was cooking, I went ahead and put the rest of the pumpkin in the ice cube trays, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to freeze this as well. So that's it for Miss Bella and myself. Happy treating, and we hope you stay warm this winter if that's where you are in this part of the world, or cool if you're on the other part of the world, and I hope everybody stays safe. Thanks.